What's good, everyone? OJ here. We've got some awesome and incredible news for the Nintendo Switch 2 and Donkey Kong Bonanza today. So let's first just get into the Donkey Kong Bonanza information, because this is going to be a pivotal game for the Nintendo Switch 2 and for, I would just say, the Donkey Kong franchise. Will this be a new, I would say, sub type of thing? Will this be the new way that Donkey Kong is moving forward? Well, based off of if the game is successful or not, that's what we're going to see. So Donkey Kong Bonanza has done incredible when it comes to the metrics. The Nintendo Direct, or the Direct for Donkey Kong Bonanza, has done over 3 million plus in terms of individual views on Nintendo's YouTube channel. That doesn't even count directly through their site. That doesn't count on Twitter and on other places, restreams and all that. It has been a massive success. People loved that Nintendo Direct focused on Donkey Kong Bonanza. The demo is out at certain places like Target and Walmart, and people are loving that as well. And that's looking to seem like it's going to roll and transition into the game being incredibly successful. Now, up until Death Stranding 2 on the Beach came out, Donkey Kong Bonanza was by far the best-selling new release. People went out there and pre-ordered it in droves. So what does that tell you? Well, that Direct focused on Donkey Kong Bonanza was a massive spike in the interest of the game. Now, pre-orders did go live, and then we saw the Donkey Kong amiibo and different stuff like that. So that also all helped out, and more people talking, word of mouth, all of those things. But this is something that you definitely want to see, and one of the reasons why they even do the Directs focus on individual games, to pique the interest, to get people more excited. If you missed on something, now you can see it at this point. So this is definitely incredible and great news overall for Donkey Kong Bonanza, as like I said, this is something new for the Donkey Kong franchise. If you haven't played a Donkey Kong game before, but you're interested in this one, and believe me, I've spoken to a number of people who are interested in Donkey Kong Bonanza but have never played a Donkey Kong game, this is a completely different style of game. Yes, Donkey Kong is an old IP, but when it comes to the gameplay here, this is essentially a brand new IP, because they've never done this for Donkey Kong at all. So it's a big risk, it's a big game overall, and it's going to really shape what they do in the future with Donkey Kong. Will we see a Donkey Kong Bonanza 2 in the lifetime of the Switch 2? Well, I think it's going to be based on how well this does and just what the reception is overall for the game. How's it review? Of course, how's it sell? Now, people were expecting a Super Mario Odyssey 2, and we never got that. But the sales of that game were so great, there was really no need. And I think that the Mario team is probably working on a big new Switch 2 Mario game. And I think a Splinter team from the Mario Odyssey team worked on this game as well. So I think that's where their resources went into. It went into creating really great experiences to bolster the Nintendo Switch 2 in the first calendar year and into the second calendar year with Donkey Kong Bonanza and a big, massive 3D Mario game. So I do think it's a link and a transition. So I think that that's going to be incredible when we finally do get that, because you know good and well, with the anniversary coming up, with the movie coming up, Nintendo has a massive Mario game for the Nintendo Switch 2 planned, as they look to kind of put their foot on the pedal when it comes to accelerating people to be interested in the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, there was restocks recently for the Switch 2 at Walmart and at different places, and when I went, they stated they had around 30 or 40 in the morning, and by the time that I got there, pretty much there was only 5 left, with people buying them right then and there when I went the other day. So clearly, the Nintendo Switch 2, in terms of the hype, or in terms of people looking forward to buying the games and buying the system, it's not slowing down. And I think that as long as Nintendo can put out very unique and interesting types of games like Donkey Kong Bonanza, like Mario Kart World, like Kirby and the Forgotten Land Star-Crossed Worlds, like Metroid Prime 4, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, in addition to Pokemon Legends ZA, and getting much better quality out of those games than what we saw with the Switch 1, I think that this is going to continue when it comes to the great sales, in addition to the awesome games that are coming as well. And I'm very interested to see what Nintendo has in their second year, because I do think that a lot of their best developers, like Monolith Soft, for example, obviously the 3D Mario games, so some of their best developers and best games. What about the next big Splatoon game, Splatoon 4, for calendar year 2/3? So even if you look at the lineup and as good as it is for this year, they still have other massive heavy hitters they got set for the next year or so, plus Super Smash Bros. As well. So it's going to be a very interesting Nintendo Switch 2 generation for sure. But before we get into the next topic, if you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell to get all of my vids as soon as they drop. And let me know what you're looking forward to most in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Okay, let's jump into the next topic here, guys, and we're going to discuss the crazy thing that happened with the Nintendo Switch 1 and some with the Switch 2, I guess, in Japan, because this is something that I've been talking about before and I felt that it was going to continue. But the Nintendo Switch 1 in Japan, it's so popular at this point, or it's still so popular, that it's actually outselling all the other systems in Japan outside of its predecessor, the Nintendo Switch 2. So the latest Famitsu sales, which Famitsu's interesting because it actually gives us the numbers when it comes to weekly sales. This was for the week of June 16th, 2025 through June 22nd, 2025. And the Nintendo Switch 2 clearly dominating with the amount of systems. People are still rushing to get it, lottery tickets, stuff like that. Some places have it to where you can walk in, but the system is still incredibly popular. It sold another 140,026 units. Still very good overall, but the Nintendo Switch 1 sold another 12,769 units. That's actually more than double any other system when it comes down to it, and double the PlayStation 5. So the PlayStation 5 sold 6,006 units, and every other system is just obviously not that much of a factor overall. But that's how popular the Nintendo Switch brand is in Japan. Even after the Nintendo Switch 2 is out, people are still buying Switch 1, maybe for presents or maybe as their first time getting the system. Then later they'll get the Switch 2. Like, there's a variety of reasons why when it comes down to it, and it's very similar to what we saw with the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was still even popular well after the PlayStation 3 came out, but there was different circumstances with that because the PS3 was just really expensive overall and didn't have as many games when it comes to when it first launched. So people were buying PS2s at super discounted rates. Whereas with the Nintendo Switch 1, it's not really receiving any type of discounts or crazy type of bundles or packages. And I think that it's going to continue to the point to where the Nintendo Switch 1 will eventually pass up the PlayStation 2. I still feel that Nintendo needs to have probably a couple sales or deals here and there, maybe some bundles and some packages to kind of push it over, but there's still games coming out. Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out for it. You've got Tomodachi Life and you got Rhythm Heaven. There's also that, plus Metroid Prime 4. That's also coming out for Switch 1 as well. So what do you guys think when it comes to what's happening here with the Switch 2, Switch 1 in Japan, and then also Donkey Kong? You can let me know in the comment section. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. And I found this to be incredibly interesting when it comes to this rumor. So let's go ahead and break it down with Sakurai and Kirby Air Riders plus Super Smash Bros. So here's the rumor. Kirby Air Riders apparently is a passion project for Masahiro Sakurai. He told Nintendo he would develop a new Smash Bros. After he was done with that game. So Masahiro Sakurai, creator of both Kirby and Super Smash Bros., apparently negotiated with Nintendo to develop Kirby Air Riders before working on a new Super Smash Bros. Game, according to Reese Kiwi Talks Riley, a game developer interviewer who has recently dabbled in posting rumors and alleged insider information on Twitter. When it comes to Smash for 3DS and Wii U, and then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which ended in 2021, there was about a good 8+ years or so, almost a decade of just developing Smash. So maybe there's a bit of burnout there. But at the same time, this is a rumor, and we don't know if this is actually correct. It's just one person talking about it. Now, I'm not here to doubt this guy's track record or anything like that. I don't really know about it too much, but I do think that Masahiro Sakurai has kind of stated that he's gotten kind of tired of making the same thing here and there. I know that he fainted one time during Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's development. He had a really bad wrist pain. I think it was in the 3DS or Wii U era. He had to use a trackball because he was working so much. Like, he was dehydrated at times and all that when he went to the gym. Like, it was just like crazy when it comes down to it. And I know that he loves Kirby. And one of the big reasons why he left HAL was because he didn't want to work on the same thing over and over and over with Kirby. And then ultimately did get a bit more freedom when it comes to developing certain stuff like Kid Icarus Uprising and Meteos and other types of games, but he really hasn't had too much of that. So I do think that, yeah, he'd probably want to take a niche or more smaller title and make something. He did the same thing with Kid Icarus Uprising with the Nintendo 3DS. He made that game, and then afterwards, he made Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. So it could be the same thing here, and that does lead a little bit of credence to this rumor overall. Now, once again, I gotta stress that it is a rumor, and we don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, it does seem, in my opinion at least, I personally feel, this is just my own personal opinion, that Masahiro Sakurai is pretty much wrapped up with Kirby Air Riders, and he's probably already planned out and documented and already gotten going what's happening with the next Super Smash Bros. Game. I don't think that Kirby Air Riders is still taking so much development time to this point, and he hasn't even started a shred of work on Super Smash Bros. Just because if that's the case, that would take Smash Bros. Way too long to come out. If you're looking at about a 3-year development period, I mean, there's no way that Nintendo's going to allow Super Smash Bros. To come out by 2028. They like to have Smash Bros. Within the first year or so. So I still feel that Smash Bros. Is probably about a year or so off. I think it can be announced next year, and then maybe it launches in early 2027. That's what I'm guessing, or 2027 at some point. That's what I'm guessing with that. If you look at Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and the 3DS, that was about a year, almost 2 years after the Wii U launched, and obviously 3DS a little bit different there. So that's what I'm guessing with this. Once again, this is all a rumor, so do not take it as it's 100% fact or anything like that until, of course, we get the confirmation, or until Sakurai talks about it more, or until we get the announcement of a Super Smash Bros. Game or something like that. So what do you guys think about this rumor? I find it to be fascinating, although I will say this. Masahiro Sakurai didn't even know he was the one developing Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS when it was announced at E3 2011. He was like, oh, cool, Smash Bros. Who's making that? And then Mr. Owada was like, well, that's going to be you. I don't think they're going to do that with him this time. I don't think he has the rapport. I don't think anybody there has that type of relationship that Mr. Owada had with Masahiro Sakurai as HAL alum. Nobody has that type of clout with Sakurai at Nintendo right now. At least nobody that we know of has that. I'm pretty sure he has close friends and all that, but Sakurai and Mr. Owada were super close, so I do think that nobody can do that to him now at this point. But yes, a new Smash Bros. Is coming, but we'll see exactly when it does. So what do you guys think about this story? I found it to be fascinating. I might make a separate discussion video on this as I kind of research things a little bit more. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. All right, we're gonna move on to the final topic here, guys. And we've got an update that pisses off a lot of Mario Kart World players, because now the intermission races are included when selecting a random course online. A lot of people have been going online and selecting random courses so they don't have to do the intermission races, which I don't mind the intermission races as much, but there are people who don't want to do them. They just want to play kind of like the traditional Mario Kart 3 lap type of thing. So Nintendo putting this in, injecting it in with this update, it's something that people are not happy about overall. Now, there are other adjustments when it comes to different things that Nintendo put in with the latest update, version 1.1.2, which I'll put up right here, or you've seen on screen. But the big thing here is that people are upset. A lot of the hardcore Mario Kart players are upset that they don't have that option. And I think that that's something that Nintendo needs to address in a update. Now, I've always said this, man, with Mario Kart World, I think this game is going to look completely different in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years compared to how it looks now. Or if you take it like the next 5 or 6 years, how it looks at this point. I think it's similar to Mario Kart 8 and how that looked when that first came out compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and how that ended when that came out. Despite being the same game, there are so many tweaks and changes and adjustments and patches. Man, I don't even remember everything that they've done in that game in terms of the additions and all that. So I do think that they are gonna switch things up. But yeah, this needs to be addressed overall. There needs to be more options put into it. There needs to be better organization when it comes to the single player free roam experience. They definitely need to add in a number of different things to satisfy a variety of players and give people options and better feature sets to take advantage of when it comes to the online. Now, I've been playing it just kind of with the community, and when I play with the community, you can kind of customize things and kind of do things a little bit more than random online. So it's a little bit different in terms of from my own experience, but I have hopped online before and I just pick whatever because I didn't care about the intermission tracks. But yeah, this definitely needs to be addressed. and of course more features need to be added into Mario Kart World, especially since they're charging that $80 for the game. They've definitely got to get up to speed on that in terms of adding different types of contents or adding in patches and features to make the game better for players out there. So what do you guys think overall about everything that we discussed? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.